Hello and welcome to the Mad Leprechaun. My name is Mert Walsh and today I shall be riding a Harley Davidson Sportster S. If that's something that interests you, please do stick around and stay tuned. Until after the intro. Right, well, we're still at the ABR. This is a second test ride of the weekend. On the last day of the weekend, and this is a Harley Davidson Sportster S. I am going to endeavour to do a walk around on this with some specifications, but this is going to be purely first impressions review. As I was so taken by the Revolution Max engine on the Pan America, essentially it's the same engine. I was intrigued how it would feel in this guise, as it were. So a really nice, small, basic, round, retro styled TFT screen. It's retro, but it's new. Controls are very, very similar to the Pan America, albeit the seating position for someone of 6'5" is a little bit canted forward, really. We just wonder how we're going to get on with the ride. I think it's about 20-25 minutes, something like that. I'll try and condense it down, and I'll put the walk round and specifications somewhere in the middle. Actually, once you get going, the seating position doesn't feel too bad. I shall obviously comment on the seating position as I'm riding along. It's a nice view, isn't it? Look at that. The mirrors, they're small, but they're good. Kind of see enough out of them. The fueling on this is really, really good. Look, we're doing 6-7 miles per hour. I'm obviously holding it on the clutch, but I'm not slipping the clutch. I'm not, burning the clutch out by doing it. But yeah, the fueling's really nice. Little gear indicator, which I can read. Right, so there's no quick shifter on this bike. Some of the Pan America range, the ST certainly does. I just tried to see if it would change gear, and it doesn't, so you need to use the clutch. So this is a Sportster S 1250 engine, 60-degree V-twin, water-cooled engine, and essentially the same as the Pan America. Your entry-level Harley, if you wish, and I know it's a departure from the traditional air-cooled engine, but what I've noted in the past with friends of mine who've bought 883 Sportsters and 1200 Sportsters, the first thing they did was change the exhaust and tune it and do lots of things to it to try and get more power out of it. Spend an awful lot of money, were very, very disappointed, and then bought a larger Harley. Where the Revolution Max engine is already a very, very powerful engine, so you won't be disappointed with the bike out of the box. So I think it's a really wise move on Harley's part to put the Revolution Max engine into this package. So the indicators on this are self-indicated, self-cancelling even. Road captain was just waiting for us. Thankfully most other people are going off to the left. So now I would say that it produces power slightly differently to how the Pan America does. It doesn't feel as aggressive or as punchy, but it's still nice. But because it is the shape it is, it's more of a cruiser style bike. You don't want it to be too aggressive. Yeah, they've definitely softened the power delivery a little bit, not to the detriment of the engine, I don't think. You know, you're not on a sports bike. You're on a Sportster, but you're not on a sports bike, so you don't want to be in this kind of position and producing the power that the Pan America does. But it's still more than enough. So about 40 miles an hour, I knocked back down. I was in top, and I've just knocked back down to 5th. A little bit of chugginess, but nothing too horrendous. Where are we going? Very well behaved in that corner. Just hug the fuel tank with my left knee, push onto the peg, a little bit of counter steer, and around she goes. Front end feels like it's giving a little bit of feedback, a little bit of weight, but then that is a very large tyre up front, but it's not like I'm really having to muscle the bike through the corners. Whoa. Nice. Very nice. Just got a nice well of torque coming out of the corners. Ooh. So now I would suggest that for me and my frame, you can hear my voice as I'm hitting those bumps. The suspension could be a fraction softer, but really and truly for someone of my height, this is not the ideal bike. But still a fantastic opportunity to ride it. Okay, that was my fault, pushed a little wide in that corner. I don't think I've quite got used to the front end of the bike just yet. Think about it on the way in. Nice, well of power on the way out. And I'm not exactly staying with the guys in front of me, but then there's no one in my mirror either, so yeah, I know the Revolution Max is a departure from the air-cooled Harley Davidson engine, but it's still a 60-degree V-twin, and I really don't care what anybody says. You can still tell it's a Harley, you really can.
The Harley Davidson Sportster S boasts a 1252cc Revolution Max engine. The bike replaced the 883 and the 1200 Sportster, and I say, hooray! I have heard of so many stories of people buying an 883 and or a 1200 Sportster and being disappointed because the bikes were underpowered. Well, people, here is an entry-level Harley that truly packs a punch. The bike comes with a small but perfectly formed 102mm or 4-inch TFT screen with Bluetooth connectivity. The bike also has cruise control, 3 riding modes: street, sports and rain, heated grips, lean sensitive traction control and ABS, hazard warning lights and LED lights all round. The bike comes in various different colours: grey, black, red and Mystic Shift. A factory custom colour that shifts colour from dark gunmetal purple, blue, then orange in different sunlights. Nice. The brakes up front is a single 320mm disc with a 4-pot Brembo caliper, which work really well. And around the back is a 260mm disc and a single pot Brembo caliper.
Suspension, swinging arm, monoshock, and the shock is kind of hidden away inside. Can't really see it. But on the other side of the bike there is an adjuster for your preload, and it can be set up for dampening as well. Not a huge amount of travel on the front forks, and I don't know the thickness of the forks, but yet again I shall put the length of travel and the thickness of the fork on the screen. But this front end can be set up for preload and dampening. Lights, indicators are all LED, and I really love the little Harley Davidson logo. It says Harley Davidson in the middle of the headlight and Harley Davidson in the indicator again. Taillights are kind of hung down at the back. The look of this is obviously subjective. I think you're going to get very wet and very muddy very quickly because the back end of the bike is so open. But if it's something that doesn't bother you, then it won't bother you. Lights on the back, yet again, are LED. That is kind of that. I can't really tell you an awful lot more. Hopefully you've enjoyed what I've done. Quite a lot of, we're doing about 60 just then, and obviously I haven't got my second camera on today, but the air, I'm taking an awful lot of air to my chest. It's clean air, but you can feel it, so if you're on a motorway, you're going to be feeling that air blast directly to your chest all of the time, especially at motorway speeds. Feels very well mannered. Very well mannered. Even with the large front tyre, it doesn't turn overly slowly, and to be honest, it only caught me out once on that really slow junction. Just, I guess it's just a different way of thinking going into corners. Think about your line, set yourself up. You have a little bit of throttle on going through the corner, and then wind on that beautiful well of power coming out of the corner. Beautiful. Brakes feel really good actually. And without stressing the engine too much, just by rolling the throttle off, there's such a nice torquey engine, you just roll off and it goes woo, back down to 30 miles per hour. Now we're turning left. So if my review sounds slightly vague at times, it's because I've literally just got onto this bike about 20 minutes ago, and I've never ridden the bike before. I have ridden the Pan America with a similar engine, and that's why I wanted to ride this one. And it didn't disappoint. That's really good fun. It's really, really good fun. I'd be intrigued to find out what the power output and the torque output on this bike is compared to the Pan America. which has the similar engine. Displacement is the same, it's 1250. I think it's 1252 from memory. I think the power delivery is definitely turned back or dialed back because of the nature of the bike, but it's certainly not gutless. Having a little bit of a shaky kind of ride really at on these little back roads. Suspension is mildly firm, but I just think I'm too big for the bike, so you have to take that comment really with a pinch of salt. Rev counter is around the outside of the clock and a very large indicator in the middle. Simple but really, really effective. Then down on the right hand side corner, bottom corner, right hand side rather, fuel gauge. Has got cruise control, it has got heated grips, and you can go into the menu and change and configure some bits and pieces. Oh wow, I tell you what, maybe I was wrong. I don't know what revs I hit then, but all of a sudden the bike kind of went, no, I'm no slouch, and we're off. Woohoo! Wow, what an engine. I've always said the Revolution Max engine was an awesome engine, and it still is. This is an awesome bike. It's not the bike for someone of my size, it just isn't. But the opportunity to ride it was too great to miss, really. It wouldn't be a bike I would want, but it's an awful lot of fun to ride. It's a lot of fun to ride. And on that note, I would like to say a massive, massive thank you to all of the guys and girls at Harley Davidson who have clearly looked after me this weekend. I was supposed to take the bike out yesterday, and due to some technical issues with my equipment, it just didn't happen. And they were so kind, generous, and they sorted me out to come out and ride this again today. So I nearly didn't ride this because I've got hay fever and I've been suffering a little bit yesterday afternoon, and I was in two minds as to whether I should ride this, but I'm ever so pleased that I did. Fantastic opportunity. About 4,000 revs. I had a quick look down that time. You let it run to about 4,000, and you just feel the bike push you in the seat of your pants, and it's like, oh, and we're off. Very, very nice. So yeah, we're back at Radley Hall. Thanks for ever so much for coming along for the ride, and thanks once again to Harley Davidson for the opportunity. Hopefully you enjoyed this one, people.
If you have liked this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you haven't liked this video for any particular reason whatsoever, please feel free to leave a thumbs down. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ding dong the notification bell if you'd be so kind. And hopefully, all being well, I shall see you in another one. Until next time, people, take care of yourself, ride safe, bye bye for now.